Hilton Coliseum is starting to fill up for this matchup here tonight between Iowa State and South Dakota State. Let's take a look at your Atlantic Bottling starting lineups. For South Dakota State, Coach Nagy settling with this lineup. Kai Williams, Anthony Cordova, Clint Sargent, who normally came off the bench. The sophomore from Sioux City now will get the start tonight. And then, of course, the Callahan brothers, Garrett and Griffin Callahan. For the Iowa State Cyclones, Brian Peterson, Craig Brackens making their 43rd straight start. And in fact, they've started every game that they have played here at Iowa State. Joining them tonight, Thompson, Steiger, and Garrett. Time now to take a look at the Dolls Food keys to the game, and Kevin, break it down for us.
Well, South Dakota State has to really battle on the boards with the bigger Cyclones. They're giving away a lot of inches in there, BJ. They also feel they've got to shoot a good percentage from the floor. They shot 28% the first half at UNI and just couldn't recover from it. ISU, they've got to identify those three-point shooters for South Dakota State. Callahan shoots over 44%, and Sargent can throw them in at about 37% clip, and they transition defense. They got to get back.
Brackens.
Take away transition buckets.
That'll be key here this evening to see, what Iowa State will do with South Dakota State. Of course, they want to make this more of a transition game as Steiger hits the shot and will go to the foul line as he was fouled in the act of shooting here. And how about that, Luka, the new dude, coming out firing here.
Steiger usually a three-point shooter, but they ran a little set play, got him on a back screen, layup to start the game for the three-point bomber.
Perfect on the season as Steiger leads the team in threes, and his game is just continuing to develop and develop game in, game out here, and as he gets used to playing at this level of play.
Well, plus he had to overcome that early season knee surgery he had in October. It takes a little while to get back set from that.
Here's Williams from the corner, and Kai Williams puts South Dakota State up 3-2, or 3-3 actually, tie ball game.
Kai Williams has been the leading scorer for the Jackrabbits the last 2 years, but has not been playing at a really efficient clip so far, so they're happy to see him with a nice start.
Kevin, what about the size advantage Iowa State has against the Jackrabbits? As you see the Cyclones try to pound it in low.
Well, Brackens at 6'11", getting guarded by Cordova at 6'7".
There is the head coach of South Dakota State, Coach Scott Nagy. He's been there for a while. In fact, since the 94-95 season, and has turned the program into the Division I team that they are today, which was a heck of a building process up there. And for the Iowa State Cyclones, Coach Greg McDermott, third season overall here. And of course, doesn't have the greatest of records against South Dakota State, just 1 of 6. Most of those games were played when he was at Wayne State.
And the one victory is when he coached the year at North Dakota State in the same league as South Dakota State.
Trying to back in this time is Cordova. Can't hit the shot. Williams gets the rebound, and the Jackrabbits reset. Here's Sargent. Got it. A 3 from Sargent from the wing. And the Jackrabbits doing what they wanted to do here early on. Knew they were going to have to open up the interior by shooting the outside shot, and they've hit them. Now Steiger. The answer not there.
Steiger's rattles in and out, but you've got to find those shooters for the Jackrabbits. That's what they do. Over a third of their shots come from beyond the three-point arc. They'll push the ball up, BJ. They get very patient.
Sargent shot off the mark, and the rebound to Deontay Garrett. Numbers aren't there, so he goes to Peterson.
Really working to get the ball in the brackets after that big night he had on Saturday against Jacksonville State. Like to get him a little closer on the block, though. BJ, he got it pushed off to about 12 feet.
Iowa State won for their first 3 from the field here. And the Jackrabbits shooting right at 50%. They do own some offensive rebounds here. Now Williams for 3 again. And the rebound belongs to Brian Peterson in Iowa State. Ahead to Brackens. A great composure and hands by Brackens able to haul that ball in, Kevin.
That is a difficult catch to go up in traffic because you're going to get banged. I mean, he's still trying to control that ball and put it in the basket. Not able to do that, so look for a set play for a 3 here out of this out-of-bounds play by Iowa State.
That foul called against Griffin Callahan, his first, the team's second against South Dakota State. Just getting it underway here. Brian Peterson will try to tie it up.
Brackens batting on the backboards. He had 5 offensive rebounds Saturday night in the Jacksonville State game. made Coach McDermott very happy. He was a little concerned he wasn't attacking the offensive glass like he should.
Now Cordova backing in on Thompson. Too strong with the shot and the rebound to Steiger. How about the Cyclones' ability to crash the boards here tonight?
Well, their guards have done an excellent job of rebounding all year, led by Brian Peterson.
Brackens tries to dump it in for Thompson, and he does.
Oh, nice look. Now, South Dakota State's been trying to front the post, so Iowa State's doing ball reversal, trying to create angles for that lob pass.
How about Alex Thompson's play here over the last couple of weeks? He's starting to I guess, get into a rhythm, which is good to see for Alex Thompson offensively.
He's shooting the ball very well. The leading field goal percentage shooter for the Cyclones. And always draws the top offensive front line player, but there's a nice little high-low look. You can see Thompson with the seal, release, catch, and the score. But all set up by Brackens with a nice lob pass over the top. Very good read.
Lucas Steiger just picked up his first personal foul a moment ago. Iowa State, where they're starting 5 on the floor. South Dakota State going to their bench. Michael Palarka into the game for the first time. Callahan from the top.
And that's the younger Callahan. This is only his second game in a South Dakota State uniform, eligible at the end of the semester.
Yeah, played against Northern Iowa the other day, had 14 points, 6 rebounds, as you had mentioned at the start of the broadcast here tonight, as Brackens can't get the shot to fall.
Well, Craig's back where he's fading away. I have to get him near the basket where he can do that, his signature over his right shoulder turnaround jumper. But right now, South Dakota State's getting pushed out another step farther out of his comfort range.
Josh Cassidy also into the game. He's got the ball right now for the Jackrabbits. Now looking to drive it in is Callahan. Foul called here against Iowa State. This one goes against Lucas Steiger. So that's going to be his second and brings us to a timeout on the floor. So the Jackrabbits have the 1-point lead. However, the Cyclones trying to use their height to their advantage. They've been pounding it inside. It's a 1-point game. Six to 5, South Dakota State with the lead on Iowa State with 15:52 to play here in the first half. By the way, this is the 6th overall meeting between these two teams, and Iowa State leads it at 5-0. The last game that was played here in Ames was back in 1985. Cyclones won it handily, and Jeff Hornacek led the Cyclones that day with 24 points. And of course, we had mentioned that Iowa State coach Greg McDermott had coached against South Dakota State, and he coached against them at the wrong time, Kevin.
Well, Coach McDermott was at Wayne State, was an independent, and they played South Dakota State on a regular basis. Did get a win against Scott Nagy when he was at the 1 year at North Dakota State. See, South Dakota State 2 for 7. Iowa State just 2 for 6 from the field. And those 2 from South Dakota State were 3-pointers. They really spread the court now. They like to skip it over the top, and they try to attack.
Yeah, Callahan along the baseline can't get it to fall on the rebound to Thompson.
You see that size, Iowa State size inside is eliminating South Dakota State from getting any second chance opportunities.
Wes Eichmeyer into the game for the first time as Deontay drives and finishes.
Well, Deontay is 6'4", always causes problems for the opposing team's guard. And he's got that long reach. He has a real knack now getting to the rim.
Callahan will dump it into Cordova. Looks to back it in on Thompson. Cordova with the hard spin to his left. And Alex Thompson has held his ground so far this evening in the blocks.
Well, Alex always draws that toughest defensive assignment for the front line, and you can see why. Nice defensive job by Alex Thompson.
Wes Eichmeyer into the game for the first time for Iowa State, the 6'3" freshman out of Fremont, Nebraska.
Bracken's trying to get that lob pass. He's got his man sealed, but the help side defense keeps stepping in.
Thompson from the corner. There's a mismatch there. Thompson recognizing it, demanding the ball, working against Palarka. Now Eichmeyer for 3. Well, they got the shot that they wanted, an open look.
A little inside-outside action. Eichmeyer quite have his feet set and his shoulders squared up.
South Dakota State trying to buy a bucket here. 0 for their last 6 in the game. As the Cyclones have the lead for the first time here at 7-6 as we're nearing the 14-minute mark. Good defense that time by Brian Peterson. And Palarka nearly stole it away. And Eichmeyer has it knocked away.
Eichmeyer trying to go between his legs in traffic. That always leads to trouble.
Well, these two teams value the basketball a lot. Iowa State among the best in the Big 12 as far as for turnovers. In fact, ranked nationally inside of the top 15. And South Dakota State themselves don't turn it over a whole lot, but you know what? Back-to-back turnovers here. So much for that stat, right?
You always manage to jinx them, BJ, when we start talking about those turnovers. But Coach Nagy, one of his concerns was how efficient Iowa State is. They just handle the ball so well that you cannot force them in the turnovers. There's a great play by Brian Peterson.
Yeah, Josh Cassidy tried to post him up. That's a senior against a freshman.
Well, both these teams are relatively young. South Dakota State with 8 freshmen sophomores. Of course, Iowa State with 11 freshmen sophomores on their squad.
Inside to Garrett on the block. Good pump fake. And too far underneath the support system. As Sargent will bring it ahead.
The Jackrabbits surrounded the ball that time. Didn't give Dante any room to convert.
Cassidy a little bit out of control, and he'll turn it over in consecutive trips.
There's the big guy, Justin Hamilton, playing a little post D, forcing a turnover. Another concern for South Dakota State, they just don't have a lot of bigs. Anthony Davis, 6'10", junior they have out of Iowa, is out for the season with a spinal injury.
Actually transferred from Southwestern Community College. As good dump down, high-low game again, Kevin, as Hamilton is able to finish it off. Great feed from Thompson.
They're changing angles in the post defender, getting the ball reversed, open up that high-low lob. And Hamilton with nice hands, able to catch it and convert it.
Palarka from the corner. Got it just a 2 as his foot was on the line.
Now, Palarka's a guy who started a number of games here for the Jackrabbits. Of course, they've used a lot of different lineups here in this season.
They're just trying to formulate that team together because of, you know, Coach Nagy, what he's had to deal with injuries, and of course, newcomers coming aboard here in between semesters.
First year they get to play for the league championship. They went through the conversion of moving from Division II to Division I, and this is the year they're a little excited because they're going to play in the conference tournament for a chance for an NCAA bid.
Cassidy will pick up his second personal foul as Hamilton. Good move underneath.
Nice little bounce pass. Alex Thompson. Hamilton with the catch and foul. And Hamilton has not missed a free throw yet this season, and we hope we don't jinx him on this move.
South Dakota State, you mentioned the fact that they get a chance to play for a bid for an NCAA tournament bid. Nice job, Kevin. Merry Christmas, by the way. And, you know, they get a chance to play for the NCAA tournament in the Summit League. They were picked to finish 8th, but the exciting thing, I think, what has everybody jacked up at South Dakota State is the fact that they get to host the tournament in Sioux Falls here for a couple of years, beginning, I believe, next year.
So right down the road from Brookings. Well, Coach Nagy mentioned that it was so hard to recruit players when you're in the transition period because you have nothing to play for in postseason play. And now that they're able to play in the tournament, it has really helped his recruiting.
Iowa State with their largest lead at 2 at 10-8. And Kai Williams will lose it off of his foot. That's now 3 turnovers against the Jackrabbits.
All been forced turnovers just by Iowa State's defense on the ball, trying to stop dribble penetration.
Now, Coach McDermott's at half court, right at the scorer's table. What do you think they're going over here?
Well, he brought Lucas Stagger back in the game, and we thought he had, well, he is going to play him with 2 fouls.
Okay.
I'm not sure what Coach Mack's trying to straighten out.
We'll have to figure this out because now the officials are coming together here to talk about that. And yeah, and Luka back into the game with 2 personal fouls.
That is a little surprising because, you know, Coach Mack usually has a rule. You pick up 2, you're going to sit the rest of the half, especially with the amount of depth that he has this year. Maybe Coach Mack's asking what they want for Christmas.
Have you been good?
Kip Kissinger there at the bench. Sometimes it's a shot clock issue or a clock issue.
Coach Nagy was informed of. And of course they were looking at that last foul that they did change one of Lucas Steiger's fouls to Alex Thompson.
Well, that explains why Coach Mack brought him back in the game.
Okay. So Luca wasn't even on the court that last time down, and Alex Thompson committed the foul, but I guess they registered it against Luca.
Got number 5 and number 15.
So that's all straightened out. So Luca Steiger now with 1 personal foul. Alex Thompson with 1. So Coach McDermott pleading his case, getting the call. And how about the feed to Hamilton? Just too strong with the shot.
Well, that's a lack of experience. Trying to make a quick shot. There was Hamilton. He took his time. He had the ball high. He's 6'11". No one on South Dakota State seems even near his height.
We've got a timeout on the floor here. 11:36 to play here in the first half. Iowa State with a 2-point lead. 10-8 Cyclones with the lead on the Jackrabbits with 11:36 to play here in the first half. And there's the happy little Cyclone. Of course, happy the holidays are here. Santa Claus not too far off from, I'm sure, visiting his house. As well, right now I think he's hoping for an Iowa State victory. Maybe not with her. She might be rooting the other way. We take a look at it, Kevin. Both of these two teams have had their struggles shooting here. I mean, the defenses have been phenomenal here early on, but there have been some point-blank misses.
Well, once again, Iowa State with great defense in the half court. South Dakota State only shooting 28%, 2 for 7, and excuse me, they've gone up to 3 for 11, and 2 of those three-point shots.
Dominic Buckley ready to check into the game. You see each team with 11 shots so far. Iowa State has made 1 more basket. That's why they stand here with a 2-point lead. However, at the line for the Jackrabbits, it's Clint Sargent, the 6'4" sophomore out of Sioux City, Nebraska. Actually played his high school basketball at Heelan, and as you might know, was a Class 4A All-State player.
And he had 25 points at the University of Minnesota a couple of weeks ago, so he can fill it up. Yeah, another 3-point shooter.
Now Brackens open from the wing. Iowa State has not been, well, too good from the perimeter. In fact, 0 for their first 4 from the outside.
There's that transition D that we talked about. Iowa State's got to get back. Great ball move by South Dakota State.
Sargent at the top. Great defense by Iowa State. They try to force it to the interior, and it's knocked away as Cordova will track it down for the Jackrabbits.
Jackrabbits just work their offense, waiting for you to make a mistake.
Inside of 10 on the shot clock here. Sargent from the top. And Hamilton will bring it down.
Coach McDermott going to his bench early again with Buckley in, Hamilton, Eichmeyer.
Brackens has it stolen away. And Eichmeyer comes up with the loose ball. Well, each team doing their Christmas best at giving each other gifts. Another one. That's 4 turnovers by Iowa State. The Jackrabbits also have 4.
Well, neither team handling the ball very well right now or shooting the ball very well.
Williams from the corner. And the rebound comes to Cordova. Tries to back in on Hamilton. Tough shot and hits it with a right-handed skyscraper.
Well, Cordova is their one big body inside. They really like his girth, 225. He's averaging 9 points a game and just under 8 rebounds. He's going to have to battle inside against Hamilton.
Now Brackens gets the answer.
Well, nice play by the Clones. A little slip screen. Take advantage of that hedge that South Dakota State's doing on defense, and Brackens able to slip the basket easy too.
Here's Sargent. The fadeaway. Got it. And we've got the seesaw battle here at Hilton Coliseum. 13-12. Jackrabbits with the lead with 9:30 to play in the first half.
We'd like to see Iowa State bear down, make some stops in the defensive end.
Mentioned Sargent had 25 earlier this season against Minnesota. Right now he's off to a good start. He's got 6 of the 13 for the Jackrabbits as Hamilton's fouled inside. And this one goes against Clint Sargent. That'll be his first, the 6th team foul called against the Jackrabbits here.
Buck, a little penetration, little dish move. Hamilton with the good hands again. Young man's back at the free throw line. And Hamilton getting a lot of minutes here these last couple games because of Jamie Vanderbeeken's injured ankle.
And Vanderbeeken, he's suited up here tonight and expected to play a little bit. And Kevin, you got the, I guess, the health report on him prior to the game. It's not completely healthy yet.
Well, head trainer Vic Miller has been working on him all week. Did not dress him at all in Saturday's contest, but he's about 85%. So thought he'd get some action today.
13-13 as the Jacks try to regain the lead here again. Callahan, the fadeaway. Wow, that's a 14-footer.
Yeah, that's a tough shot by Garrett Callahan.
And the Jacks up by 2.
This is a low-scoring game with Jackrabbits have to like and stay the longer they can keep this thing close.
Gotta like their
build their confidence.
Yeah, Kevin, you gotta like their play defensively here. Steiger drives it in, and now a charge called against Lucas Steiger, and that will be his second personal foul.
And he will come out and will not see action the rest of the half.
Well, Moss just took one for the team.
And Luke a little bit out of control. Drive it in there. You know, he's trying to develop his game. He knows that three-point shooter, so he's trying to get his ability to attack off the dribble drive more and more.
Jamie Vanderbeeken into the game along with Sean Haluska, the senior from Carroll, gets his first action of the night.
We'll see how Vanderbeeken how effective he is with the ankle.
Turnover number 5 against South Dakota State. Cordova could not handle the pass into the blocks. So you've got Vanderbeeken, Garrett, Peterson, Brackens, and Haluska on the floor for Iowa State.
And Vanderbeeken, although he's 6'11", he leads the team in three-point percentage.
Try to dump it down to Garrett, and does, and Garrett fouled hard and will go to the line.
Well, they cleared out the baseline, a little backdoor cut by Garrett. Vanderbeeken with a lob over the top. Garrett is able to draw the foul.
Garrett Callahan will pick up his first personal foul, 7th team foul against South Dakota State. So the Cyclones are in the bonus the rest of the half here with this foul.
And Garrett's really improved his free throw shooting this year, just under 75%. We got to quit talking about him, BJ.
What is it with you tonight?
Every time we talk about a free throw shooter.
Man.
Garrett with 8 points and 2 assists Saturday night's game. And those points came at a much needed time late in the game when Jacksonville State was making a run. Garrett had some nice moves to the basket, got to the free throw line. What the Cyclones needed at that point.
Into the corner, Balarka feeds it to Moss.
A lot of movement by South Dakota State.
Well, for a very small team, they really have a major emphasis at going inside.
Well, they're very well coached. They spread you out and then they attack at opportune times.
Well, Garrett Callahan just picked up his second personal foul. And that is the 6th turnover against South Dakota State. However, the Jacks have a 1-point lead here, 15-14, 7:49 to go here in the first half. As you're watching Iowa State basketball here on your Medicom Connections channel. 15-14, the Jacks have the lead on Iowa State with 7:49 to play here in the first half. Time now to take a look at our Linux points in the paint. And South Dakota State got off to a good start, Kevin.
There's Garrett Callahan with a tough turnaround jumper in the lane. They're leading the score at 16 points a game. Iowa State comes down, answers a little high-low, nice soft pass to Alex Thompson, who lays it in. Then we have the hesitation move by Deontay Garrett, who scores. And there's your Linux points in the paint.
Let me ask you about as far as for the post players, and I'm sure it was addressed here at the last time out. Iowa State has had trouble with South Dakota State fronting them defensively. I mean, the Cyclones post players just can't get it going. How do they reverse that and get it going?
They're bringing in the backside help South Dakota State to take away that lob pass. So what you have to do is make some quick ball reversals, keep changing that angle in the post, and take advantage of the sagging weak side help. You may have to throw some skip passes over the top. The other thing is, when you skip over the top, then you have a chance to penetrate as your man tries to recover to you.
See the rebounding numbers there. The Cyclones with 8. They usually average about 7.5 offensive rebounds. Vanderbeeken's shot not there. Tonight they have yet to own an offensive rebound.
Well, South Dakota State emphasis was a rebound with the Cyclones. Right now they're out-rebounding the Cyclones 11-8.
Kevin, it's tough to get it done when you're not shooting it that well. One and done on the trips, as that is a 2 by Clint Sargent. And how about his night so far? 3 of 5 from the field for 8 points.
He's one of those guys from Iowa, wants to come back in the state and show his home state people that he can play.
Brackens has it stolen away by Kai Williams.
And Coach Mack trying to get his team fired up, a little lethargic right now.
And how about this? The big guy, the tallest player on the team for South Dakota State, Mark Engen, just into the game. The 6'2 junior out of Lamberton, Minnesota, drains it, and it's the biggest lead of the game for the Jackrabbits.
Iowa State really struggling, trying to get some inside looks and some penetration. You can see that help defense. Every time you try to dribble penetrate, there's yellow jerseys coming at you.
Garrett in the lane. Now to Peterson for 3. Got it.
There's the senior. He's out there towing that line with his feet set. Drills the 3.
Stems the tide a little bit. 2-point
Iowa State's
game.
got to really step it up here at the defensive end. They're chasing a lot of these shooters around and arriving late.
Well, the Jackrabbits have been on fire. They've made their last 5 shots. Engen will lose it in traffic.
It's amazing when you knock that 3 and out. It helps you at the defensive end. A little more energy that time from the Cyclones on their defensive end. Got to get directing traffic, trying to get his postman in there. Wants to get Brackens in the paint.
Vanderbeeken thought about the shot. Engen covered well. Now Vanderbeeken, sore ankle and well, takes his man to the hoop.
Well, we just haven't seen him do that before. Show the ability to put the ball on the floor, drive through the middle of the defense, and such soft touch.
Iowa State on a 5-0 run here to get it all tied up. Palarka from the corner. Wow, the answer on the other end.
Palarkas gave him a real lift. Only averaging 3 points a game. Already he's got 4 points, 5 points.
He's normally not their shooter. As Brackens fires one, can't get it.
Iowa State just has nobody on the offensive glass. Kind of a one and done type offense. They've got to do something to get some more energy on the offensive glass.
3-point lead for the Jackrabbits. They've got the basketball, and they've kind of, both teams been toying with the lead here early on in this game. No one's really taken control yet, and Williams' shot from the corner not there. Garrett ahead to Peterson. Good catch and finish.
Well, one of the few runouts that Iowa State's been able to get. South Dakota State has controlled this tempo here in the first part of this first half. There's a run out by Iowa State.
I have to be impressed the way Iowa State's been able to catch the ball in transition down the floor as pressure's on, and now a turnover goes against South Dakota State. Griffin Callahan will turn it over. Actually, a timeout taken by South Dakota State before Callahan had turned it over. So it brings us to a timeout on the floor. I want to remind you that you still have a little bit of time before the half. And of course, now is a great opportunity to order a Papa John's pizza. And the best way to do that is to log on to papajohns.com. And again, you can have your pizza hot and fresh by halftime. Again, papajohns.com. Well, holiday cheer should be a main topic of this week's Bill Penley Show. The Iowa State women are ready for the start of the conference after an impressive win over Minnesota. Join Coach Penley every Saturday morning on the Connections channel for the latest news on Iowa State women's basketball. Again, it's Saturday morning at 9 o'clock.
Now, South Dakota State's been able to play with the Clones here with their leading scorer, Garrett Callahan, on the bench. He picked up his second foul at about the 8-minute mark and has sat down. Will probably sit the rest of the half.
They've really gotten a big boost, though, tonight by Clint Sargent. Here he's firing again, and Williams can't finish it. Finally, Brackens will clear it. And Brackens collecting his first rebound of the night. And Kevin, he had been on fire as of late, averaging 11 over the last 4 games because of a change in the philosophy that he had.
Well, slow start tonight, though, just 1 for 5. He's getting shoved out of the block, and Iowa State having a difficult time getting the ball into him.
They want to get it into him, And he's fouled and will go to the line to try to convert the three-point play.
And that is a great feed by Brian Peterson. Bounced it so Brackens could hold his wide base. The ability to drop, step, and score. Go to the free throw line for an extra point.
We've got a timeout on the floor. Iowa State leading it 23-22. When we come back, Brackens will try to cap off the three-point play. 23-22, Cyclones with the lead with 3:46 to play here in the first half. Craig Brackens will be at the line when play resumes to shoot a foul shot here. And that's Iowa State has been to the line 7 times tonight, 4 of 7. And you think of one of the greatest shooters of all time here at Iowa State. He'll be joining us here at the half. Gary Thompson will be by, and he's got the perfect idea, Kevin, for a stocking stuffer. Why not?
That is right.
His own book, Gary Thompson, All-American, now available at fine bookstores all throughout the state of Iowa. And, of course, his number retired here in the rafters at Hilton Coliseum. And Craig Brackens, well,
that was all set up in a feed by Brian Peterson. And Brackens likes that little turnaround hook over his left shoulder. Iowa State has tried a number of ways to get the ball inside. The Jackrabbits have done a very good job with help side defense. They even put Vanderbeek in the corner a little bit to try to take advantage of that help side defender and skip it over to him for a 3. That's how he was able to get to the basket on his play. Brackens able to complete the 3-point play.
Yeah, Craig Brackens now with 5 in the game. He and Brian Peterson lead all Iowa State scores with 5 in the contest. Here's Williams from the top. Gets the shot to fall. It's a 2.
Kai Williams it's a great score. Now, he played on the Canadian national team this last summer. Tough matchup for Iowa State's post because Kai Williams can step out and shoot the 3 and post up. Multi-dimensional player.
He played on the national team, but he was voted second team All-Summit during the preseason. Peterson's shot not there, and the rebound comes down to Sargent. South Dakota State going deep into their bench. Mackenzie Casey now into the contest. Now Sargent, and he'll hit the 3 from the wing.
Sargent on fire, 11 points.
2 for 3 from downtown. He also has 6 rebounds on the night to lead everybody on the glass. Now Brackens on the block. And a double team and a steal by Callahan.
Callahan from that weak side. Defense comes over, makes the steal.
Inside it goes to Cordova. He'll back in on Toms. Alex, great stance on the block. As you see the 3-point shooting so far, Jacks have been able to hit 4 from the outside. Reset with inside of 10 to go on the shot clock. Sargent will work against Peterson. He'll fire.
Iowa State's got to get some action here inside again, get some penetration against this defense.
Brackens will square up to the basket. Looks to back in on Cordova. Goes with the right hand. And Craig Brackens has been playing a different style of basketball over the last couple of games. You might see he's more aggressive out on the floor, especially on the glass. He's been averaging nearly 12 rebounds a game. And Kevin, all the coaching staff told him was don't hold your block out so long. Just go and get it. And he certainly has.
Oh, he's a guy who can rebound outside his area.
Now Peterson hits the 3.
Well, Brian Peterson, just when he gets his feet set, as outstanding form, nothing but nylon.
Peterson with a couple of triples already in the game has 8. And Thompson with the steal. Now Iowa State trying to gain control of this game. Haluska got it.
Well, it's amazing what a couple 3 balls can do for you. Iowa State not shooting it well, but now 3 for 9 after starting out 1 for 7.
Cyclones on a 7-0 run in the last minute here against South Dakota State. And now a timeout taken by Iowa State. 32-27 your score. Iowa State on a big run here. Check out this teamwork.
Garrett penetrating in the paint, going right where his shooter is, and Peterson trailing to the three-point line.
Well, 42 seconds to go here in the half. Iowa State by 5. 2008 has been a thrilling year for the Drake Bulldogs. The Bulldogs had a dream season complete with an NCAA tournament berth. Drake clinched a third straight mythical state championship against in-state opponents. So what a better way to end the year with the Bulldogs. Drake's host Missouri Valley Conference rival Missouri State in the final basketball broadcast of 2008. Start your New Year's Eve festivities early with live coverage at 2, or catch the replay at 6. It's Missouri State and Drake on New Year's Eve here on your Medicom Connections channel. Well, Iowa State's been finding, or Deontay Garrett has done a good job at finding the shooters from the perimeter, Kevin.
Garrett with 4 assists, and he's doing off that penetration. South Dakota State is so focused on help defense that he's drawn defenders to him. Kicked that one out to Sean Aluska. One before that to Brian Peterson.
About a 6-second difference between the shot and the game clock here in the half. Looks like Iowa State's going to try to take it down as far as possible with this 5-point lead.
And they usually like to run a ball screen here for Garrett. Get some penetration with shooters around him, and he's got 3 shooters on the floor with Peterson, Eichmeyer, and Aluska. Here comes a screen on the ball.
Shot clock inside of 5, and Garrett has it go off of his foot.
Coach Mack not happy with that one. And at that point, Iowa State had made a nice little pusher in the last 2 minutes to extend the lead out. We saw him do that Saturday night, last 3 minutes of the half, able to push a lead out on Jacksonville State.
Iowa State coming in with some defensive substitutions. Dominic Bunkley back into the game along with Alex Thompson.
And Bucket, very good on-ball defender.
Callahan from the wing. What a shot from Callahan.
Well, South Dakota State brings Callahan off the bench with 2 fouls for that last possession.
Peterson at the horn, just short. So Iowa State will take a 2-point lead into the locker room. The Jacks have been hanging close from the perimeter as they have buried 5 shots from downtown. Iowa State by 2. Halftime festivities come your way after these messages. (32-30) Iowa State with a lead on South Dakota State. And Kevin, when Iowa State has a lead at the half this year, good things happen. They are 5-1 when leading at intermission, so we'll see what happens here in the second half. But how about Clint Sargent, the sophomore from Sioux City, coming back? He's got 11 in the game, 6 rebounds in that first half and 3 assists. He likes playing in front of a big audience, and it's sure showing here this evening.
Well, he's 2 for 4 from the 3-point line. He's also got 6 rebounds to go along with that. So Iowa State has to get to him off those screens and get a hand in his face. There he is right there, and he has got a hot hand right now coming back to Iowa.
Let's take a look at your Dolls Foods keys to the game and for the Jackrabbits.
Well, they really want to battle the boards, and they're winning that battle right now, BJ. They have 15 rebounds to Iowa State's 12, and also they want to make sure they shot a good percentage, 50% from the 3-point line, 44% overall, so they are getting those keys accomplished. Now, Iowa State, they've got to identify those shooters. That would be Garrett, Callahan, and Clint Sargent. Now, as we mentioned, Sargent 4 for 9. Callahan's 2 for 2. So they've got to find those guys and make them bounce before they shoot. Transition defense has been pretty good for Iowa State. They're trying to get some transition offense going.
To start the second half, Iowa State will put Thompson, Peterson, Garrett, Steiger, and Brackens out on the floor. For South Dakota State, it'll be Cordova, Sargent, Williams, Callahan, and Griffin Callahan, along with Garrett Callahan. So we're ready to go. 32-30. Jackrabbits have the ball to begin the late half here. Again, led by Clint Sargent's 11 points in the first half. Here's Callahan on the drive, and How about that? Garrett Callahan ties this one up here in the early stages of the late half.
Well, Callahan picked up 2 fouls and then sat the entire first half, but Coach Nagy snuck him in for that last shot right before the buzzer. And there he starts the second half with a score.
And South Dakota State doing a good job with defending everywhere out on the floor, maybe a little too much that time. As Griffin Callahan picks up his 3rd personal foul. So that's a big one right there against the Jacks right away. But Kevin, they have been very aggressive, fronting the post and also getting out on the guards of Iowa State.
Well, their position on defense has been excellent. Help side defense, ball pressure. It's been a textbook because they're a little physically outmanned, but they've really made up for it in their ability to defend.
Now Garrett trying to work against the Peterson. Now Deontay, who's seen, well, when he's driving it in, a double team a lot of times. Now Thompson shoots it from the corner, and it's out of bounds. Last touch by South Dakota State, so Iowa State will hold the possession here.
Well, that's a break for Iowa State because I don't think that is the shot they were looking for. Got Thompson in the deep corner, but they're trying to take advantage of that help side defense and that long help that South Dakota's doing. They're taking their screen man, in that case Thompson, and fade him to the corner. They did it with Vanderbeeken.
And Alex Thompson gets the tip in there. 34-32. Cyclones back out in front. Dale Moss back into the game for South Dakota State. The sophomore from Brandon, South Dakota. Now here's Cordova in the lane, hits the right-handed hook.
Now Cordova is their most effective back-to-the-basket player. You can see there he has that jump hook. Even though he's a little bit undersized, he's able to get it off over the taller Thompson.
Well, 48% is what South Dakota State's shooting. That's after getting off to a very slow start. And
they've hit some tough shots too, BJ.
They certainly have. South Dakota State trying to become the 2nd team to shoot above 40% against the Cyclones this season. The only other team to do that was Iowa. Here's Cordova in the lane. Hits the hook shot again and will go to the line as he's fouled by Alex Thompson.
Well, same move. Backs Thompson into the post, gets his left shoulder into his body, create a little space. Bounce, bounce, bang, hook shot, and he goes to free throw line, chance to complete the 3-point play.
Well, this is a team that was beat by Drake earlier this year. Then, of course, on Sunday, got hammered over in Cedar Falls by Northern Iowa, 72-55, as Cordova misses the free throw.
They just did not shoot the ball well in Cedar Falls, got off to a slow start, but they were down 10-0 at Minnesota early this season and had that game down to a 4-point game with a couple minutes left.
Here's Brackens, the turnaround jump shot. And you'll see that with young teams. I mean, night in, night out, you're not going to see consistent play. But tonight, Iowa State getting the A game of the Jackrabbits here early on.
Well, Jackrabbits, they're consistent in everything else they do. Consistent in their offensive motion here, very consistent in what they do defensively. Sometimes the ball goes in the hoop and sometimes it does not.
Now Moss looking to work with it against Garrett. Spins hard to the lane. Can't hit the jumper. And the rebound to Steiger. Now here's Brackens. Wow!
Oh, that's what the Cyclones needed to get them fired up. Nice play by Luka. Throw that ball cross court. So Brackens breaking down the left wing.
Sometimes when you overplay, you get burned, and that's what happened there. Here's Sargent's shot and the rebound to Thompson. Cyclones looking to run it again.
Peterson trying to get Brackens moving.
A little too high and hard on the pass. 10th turnover of the game against Iowa State.
There's Luka, looks cross court. And Craig just crushes it through. Two hands with authority. Now we got to make another stop down here at the defensive end.
Callahan with the dump. Cordova, count the bucket. He'll go to the line as he's fouled by Thompson.
Well, Callahan got a mismatch on the ball switch and really worked it to perfection. Knew Cordova was open, took his time and got the ball to him. With no look lob pass in there, gets Alex off his feet.
Anthony Cordova just had 2 points in the first half. He's got 6 so far here in the second. So it's been the Jackrabbits with a concentrated effort to get the ball down low.
And they've used a number of lineups, but this is one guy, Cordova, who has started all 14 games. top field goal percentage shooter, 53%. Heck, this morning when everybody else was working on their shooting, he was at the free throw line working on his free throws.
The lob. Wow, Brackens went up high. Williams with the foul.
Well, it's nice to see Craig get more aggressive. He had that thunder dunk a couple trips ago. That time he just kind of went up and tried to get it above everybody. Luka's looking for him.
He's been setting him up well. Now Brackens to the line for 2. Craig with 9 already on the night, as you see.
Well, Iowa State with a little more energy here in the second half. It has not paid off in the score yet, but they're playing with more authority and a little more effort on defense.
Now Cordova will check out. He's holding his left hand there. Like his pinky might have been bothered there on the last play when he was fouled. 38-37. Jackrabbits with a 1-point lead. Here's Sargent in the lane.
Still has the hot hand, BJ.
Well, he's been hot
Sargent
all night.
13.
He's been getting some open looks, Kevin.
Well, that was a tough shot there. There's Brackens trying to answer.
This is what you think we might see a little bit more. Craig Brackens trying to develop his own play, get the floor spread a little bit.
Well, I like the fact that Iowa State is attacking the rim now and starting to draw some fouls. As we mentioned about how South Dakota State is undersized. After Cordova at 6'7", they've got Ingen at 6'10" on the bench, but it doesn't play a whole lot. Then they really drop off. So Iowa State, huge advantage with depth in the front line. Craig continued to struggle from the free throw line. He's shooting about 60% on the season.
Tonight, 2 of 4.
And he's a guy who's going to get fouled a lot. There's 3 team fouls on South Dakota State, 2 on Iowa State. Deontay drawn that assignment to try to get Sargent slowed down.
Now foul called away from the basketball. This one goes against Brian. Well, make that Justin Hamilton.
Well, Justin Hamilton is battling Cordova inside on that block for position.
Iowa State with 3 team fouls, and Hamilton just picked up his first.
You see South Dakota State has very good ball move. Gets the ball moved from side to side. Spreads the defense out.
Inside to Cordova, draws a triple team and somehow gets it to go through.
Well, he's used that little hook over his left shoulder 3 times in a row now, been successful each time.
Now Steiger looking to go to work. Finds Hamilton. Awkward angled on the shot, and Brian Peterson tracks down the rebound. First offensive board of the night for Iowa State. Here's Brackens. Got it.
Well, his teammates are really looking to get Craig the ball. That time Garrett passed up a 3 to get Brackens the ball on the right baseline. Good decision.
Now Williams from the wing. And Deontay will board it for Iowa State. Cyclones looking to run here. Good get-back defense for the Jacks. As Peterson can't hit the shot, Brackens called for going over the back. Well, that'll bring us to a timeout on the floor. Brackens just picked up his first personal foul. That's the 4th against Iowa State. The Jacks hanging tough. They've got a 2-point lead with 15:02 to play.
South Dakota State leading 42-40 with 15:02 left. In the half, Iowa State's got to get a little more energy going on offense and defense. South Dakota State led by Clint Sargent. He's got 13 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. A young man from Bishop Heelan out of Sioux City, Iowa. There's a tough leader in the lane.
Take a look at the Big 12 Conference standings here, Kevin, and a lot of great games here on tap tonight as Oklahoma added to a 12-0 mark. Missouri in a tussle with Illinois as part of that border battle game that they have on traditionally at this time of the year. And of course, Baylor and A&M out to a 10-1 start. Texas at 9-2. Kansas at 8-2. And then, of course, Nebraska at 7-2, Kevin, and K-State hanging in there at 8-3. So anything really kind of jump out at you?
Well, the Big 12's got 4 teams ranked in the top 25 now, with Missouri sneaking in, along with Baylor at 21, Texas at 9, and Oklahoma holding down that number 4 spot.
How about Baylor? I mean, just doesn't seem like they get the recognition or the credit that they deserve, and that team is very, very talented, but you know, they're just easing their way up the top 25 poll, but not taking the big jumps and leaps.
Well, they are under the radar, and they got a great player in senior Curtis Gerald's. Had 29 points the other night against UT Arlington.
Iowa State will host Baylor coming up on February the 24th. Big 12 conference play will begin on January the 10th at Texas for Iowa State. Cyclones down by 2, looking to tie it here on this possession, but it's turned over. Palarka waits for the numbers. Now Kai Williams will dump it into Cordova. He's had a big second half, and he hits it again. 14 points in the paint for South Dakota State here in the second half. 12 in the game for Cordova.
And Cordova 6 for 9. 4 of those have been that jump hook just here in the second half.
It's been a tale of 2 halves inside of that paint. As you take a look at points off of turnovers, the Jackrabbits have lived off of them.
And that's Iowa State's forte, is they do not turn the ball over traditionally, but today, 11 turnovers.
Into the corner for Steiger. He'll spot up. It's a 2, but rimmed in and out.
Well, Luka's been quiet from that 3-point line. You need to get him heated up. Iowa State just 3 for 11 from behind the arc.
And Brackens. That was a mismatch, and Michael Palarka at 5'10", giving up a foot to Brackens. He got a facial.
Decides to go a little, thought he had enough room to get that one off, but the long arm of Brackens comes out and swats it out of bounds.
Now Palarka will put it in play for Williams. He'll work against Brackens. Tough shot, Craig with the rebound.
See, I was trying to up-tempo this game. South Dakota State's defensive transition has been excellent the entire night.
Brackens will back in, spins to his right, can't get that shot to fall.
Well, he usually shoots that ball with a little better angle. That time he got himself down on the baseline. I don't think he knew he was that far down behind the backboard.
Williams, 19-footer, not there, and Garrett ends up with the ball.
South Dakota State with some uncharacteristically quick shots.
And Garrett, how about that? The drive and finish coast to coast for Deontay Garrett.
Well, that's what he does. Now he get himself in the paint, get that long arm. He likes to go to the left side. That time, brought it back in with his right hand.
Now Callahan, he'll get a facial. And a foul here called against South Dakota State. Josh Cassidy will pick up his 3rd. Make it his 4th for Cassidy.
Deontay Garrett in transition, sees the opening, is able to slide in there, draw a little contact, not enough for the foul. Garrett with 5 points, 4 assists.
Brian Peterson will check out. Wes Eichmeyer now in, along with Sean Haluska, Hamilton, and Jamie Vanderbeeken on the floor with Deontay Garrett.
Wes Eichmeyer likes to catch and shoot, especially when he first comes in the game.
Haluska will drive. Too strong on the shot.
Iowa State able to get some dribble penetration, but not able to convert on that possession.
Well, how about this? Iowa State's been taking it to the basket a lot. Kevin, is that by design?
Oh, yes. They've got to try to get to the foul line. You've got to keep attacking the rim. And also, you can penetrate. Garrett's done some penetrate and pitch to get some 3-point shots up.
Vanderbeeken in the corner, looks to drive it. And this pass stolen away by Griffin Callahan.
Vanderbeeken trying to make a pass with one hand. Got to keep 2 on the ball.
Sargent. And it will go to Iowa State.
Well, when Sargent pulls back and shoots it, you hold your breath because you think it's going in.
We've got a timeout on the floor. 11:52 to play here in the game. The Jackrabbits have a 2-point lead. Iowa State trying to drive and finish behind Deontay Garrett. 44-42, South Dakota State with the lead on Iowa State with 11:52 to play here in the game. And Coach McDermott, well, he's feeling some pain right now as he's not happy the way his team has been performing, especially at valuing the basketball.
That's his reaction to the last turnover. You can tell Coach McDermott does not like turnovers. Iowa State with 12 right now. We said that's already one over their average. And South Dakota State with 11 turnovers.
And the Jacks have been able to do a good job at capitalizing on those turnovers. They've got 16 points off of those Cyclone turnovers, but none of them have been fast break opportunity.
Well, both these teams pride themselves in half-court defense. South Dakota State with a little sagging man-to-man with lots of help.
Shot won't go through, and it's last touched by Iowa State. Take a look at the shooting numbers here compared to halves. South Dakota State 44%, Iowa State was at 50%. Second half, Cyclones out to a slow start, but South Dakota State near 50%. And of course for the game right at 45%. And we mentioned Iowa State, a good defensive team, prides themselves on limiting their opponents, but Cordova has had the huge second half. He's got 14 in the game, 12 of the 14 have been scored here in the second half.
That's why they had that high percentage of getting the ball to him inside. One-on-one moves by Cordova, and he is converting at a high rate. Iowa State may have to send a second defender in there to get the ball out of his hands.
Now Garrett works against Sargent in the lane. Tough move, can't get it. And the rebound to Sargent. What a gritty performance here tonight by Clint Sargent. 13 points on the night. Moss can't hit the shot. Here comes Haluska. 4-point Jackrabbit lead. Eichmeyer from the wing. At the foul line. Gets the 15-footer.
There's Wes's first hoop of the night. You need him to get a lift off the bench. You got Brackens and Peterson and Thompson getting a rest. Coach Mack going to sit him down, rest him to get him back in during the stretch run.
Yeah, the Iowa State bench normally on a given night has given them a big boost. 21 points they average, but tonight it's been kind of slow in coming.
They've been very quiet tonight.
And Griffin fouled up top by Haluska. That's going to be the 5th team foul against Iowa State. Haluska will pick up his first.
Haluska with a little recovery to the shooter and puts his hands. What's the foul called? Bracken's back in the lineup. Coach Mack continued to use quite a few players here. Used 10 in the first half. Trying to keep his guys fresh.
Bracken's leading all Iowa State scorers with 13 in the game. Griffin will drive and go to the line. And that one called against Eichmeyer, and that will be his first. Team 6th against the Cyclones.
And Griffin Callahan, perfect from the field. 3 for 3. That includes 1 for 1 from the three-point line. He hit that big 3 at the end of the half. 7 points, go with 3 assists. And he is the heart and soul of this team. He is the guy they look as their leader.
.950 to play in the game. South Dakota State with a 3-point lead on Iowa State.
Iowa State's got to get something going here offensively, BJ. Get the ball inside, they have to convert, draw some fouls.
Now Garrett looks to drive. Williams can't block it, and it's last touched by Brackens. Boy, he did alter the shot, though, on Deontay Garrett, as Kai Williams came crashing in. Take a look at it.
Nice crossover move to beat his man down the lane. It's a little bit hard off the window. Bracken's almost able to come in and corral the rebound. They just can't pick up a lot of those loose ball rebounds. Iowa State just losing off their fingertips. And here's the big guy inside again, Cordova.
Work it in on Brackens.
We know what his move is. He likes to come in there and go over that left shoulder. That time Bracken's able to stop him.
He's put his cards out on the table, hasn't he, here tonight? Now it's up for Iowa State to read and recognize. Eichmeyer from the corner. Brackens gets the board.
Brackens are trying to chase down misses.
Now Eichmeyer works the baseline, but he stepped out of bounds right in front of the Iowa State bench.
Iowa State struggling from the three-point line, just 3 for 12 tonight at 25%. 17 for 41 overall, 41%. But how about South Dakota State? There's their guy, Clint Sargent.
And Anthony Cordova.
Cordova, huge lift here in the second half.
He'll rest.
Well, South Dakota State basically with 5 perimeter players on the floor. Well, Brackens has to go out on the three-point line to guard Williams.
Callahan from the wing will go inside. Williams will back it in on Brackens. And the rebound to the smallest person on the floor, to Michael Pilarka. Here's Callahan. Boy, what a drive and finish by Garrett Callahan, and he's got his team up by 6.
Callahan still perfect from the floor at 4 for 4.
Iowa State fans trying to get behind their team, and now a travel call against Lucas Steiger. That's 14 turnovers on the night.
Well, just sense a little frustration from Iowa State. Now they're starting to feel a little bit of panic mode.
Take a look at the turnover numbers here this evening. South Dakota State has kind of slowed them down. Iowa State has had a steady pace of them here in the second half.
A low-scoring game, probably what both of these teams like. You know, Iowa State able to hold teams under 60.
Now Brackens guarding Sargent. Sargent trying to use his quicks, not happening. Inside of 10 on the shot clock. You see it winding down. Inside of 5. Now Sargent, the long 3. Are you kidding me? Clint Sargent buries it from the deep right wing, and his team has a 9-point lead. 7:37 to play here in the game, and a timeout taken by Iowa State. So it's Clint Sargent and Anthony Cordova, the 1-2 punch here for South Dakota State. Sargent with 16 and Cordova with 14. Wow, what a combination they've been here tonight for the Jackrabbits.
Well, that's a tough shot, BJ. He's got a hand in his face, too. He kind of sizes up Brackens, and Brackens got to get a hand in the pocket. Gets up a little bit late. Sargent's been on fire all night. Iowa State's got to come out and answer. And they've got to make some defensive stops. They've really got to step up the intensity at the defensive end and create some turnovers so they can score points off their turnovers. They've not had much success doing that tonight, but a lot of that's because of the ability of South Dakota State to control the ball in the half-court offense.
We'll have more when we return. You're watching Cyclone Basketball here on your Medicom Connections channel. (53-44), South Dakota State with a lead out of the timeout. Deontay Garrett fouled as he went up for the shot. And Kevin, a couple of telling statistics here in the second half. South Dakota State has 16 points in the paint as compared to Iowa State's 8. And of course, South Dakota State scoring 11 in the second half off of Iowa State turnovers. Cyclones have yet to cash in that category. Jackrabbits lead it by 9. More to come right after these messages. (53-44), Jackrabbits with a lead on Iowa State. 7:27 to play here in the game. Time now for the Linux points in the paint. And it's been one guy for the Jacks.
There he is, Cordova. That's his favorite move, and he's converted a number of times. The Jacks have 16 points in the paint. There he is, that mirror move again. That's a different play, same move. And finally, Iowa State gets a little breakaway there as Brackens throws one down. There's your Linux points in the paint.
16 of those came in the second half. You're right, Kevin, and Iowa State with just 8. Now down by 9 here. What's your strategy with 7:27 to go? You've got a hungry home crowd here behind you. What will Iowa State need to do to get back not only in this game, but to win it?
Well, what you did last time, they had Garrett attack the rim, draw fouls, so now you can score some points with the clock stopped. But you got to convert the free throws.
And Deontay misses his first one here. Iowa State from the line tonight, 7 of 13. And that number gets worse.
And now you've got to make some stops at the defensive end. You got to really bear down.
Iowa State, if they foul one more time to put the Jackrabbits into the bonus the rest of the game. They've got 16 fouls. No one really in major foul trouble for Iowa State. The only player in foul trouble for South Dakota State would be Josh Cassidy. He's got 4. A couple of players with 3. Garrett Callahan and also Griffin Callahan with 3 each. Here's Williams. Can't hit the shot, and the rebound comes down to Peterson. Now Deontay thought about pulling the trigger. Now to Brackens. Tough move, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
A good aggressive move to the basket, draw the foul.
Clint Sargent just picked up his second personal foul, 6th team foul against the Jackrabbits.
See Garrett going to penetrate in the paint, trying to get a shot off himself, and draws 2 defenders. Finds Brackens, who takes it up there on the backboard. Iowa State continuing to struggle from the free throw line.
Iowa State 2 for their last 7 from the foul line.
They're getting opportunities to score with the clock stopped from the line, but have not been converting.
Lead down to 8.
Garrett's going to start some pressure full court. And Sargent, they're a hot hand. South Dakota State been very patient.
And a steal by Peterson. Peterson rolls it into Brackens, and it's kicked. Stays with Iowa State.
Well, Craig wants the ball. Peterson's trying to get it into him.
Now Cameron Lee will come into the game. He'll replace Deontay Garrett, who'll get a bit of a rest here. Deontay's logged a lot of minutes here.
Well, Cameron Lee is their energy person. He'll step it up the defensive end. They'll move Peterson to the point guard and Lee off to the off guard. But Lee not a great shooter.
Steiger wide open. Hits it.
Nice set play, screen and step back by Luka Steiger. Much needed 3.
Callahan trying to drive. He's fouled by Peterson. And for Brian, that'll be his first personal foul, the team's 7th. So the Jackrabbits at the line.
This is set play here. Peterson kicks it back to Steiger after he pulled Steiger's defender off him on the screen. And Luka nails it from deep. Callahan, a rare miss. This guy shoots just under 80% from the free throw line.
Big miss. Let's see if Iowa State can't capitalize. Down by 5. Steiger thought about it again.
Oh, and he had Brackens inside, too, with the man pinned.
Peterson will bounce it into Brackens at the high post against Cordova. He'll square. Now fires. Short. It's loose on the ground. Well, it's a scrum for the basketball, and the Jackrabbits end up with it. Callahan for 3. Cordova will board it. Sargent goes inside to Williams. Can't hit the shot, but he'll board it. And now a foul called against Iowa State. Boy, the Jackrabbits are just at the right spot at the right time.
And that was Callahan at a wide open look. That was his first miss of the evening. Loose ball. Watch how many bodies go after this one. Oh, this is the shot down lower. Kai Williams is fouled.
Brian Peterson picked up the foul. That's his second. So Williams at the line makes it a 6-point game. Again, 5:15 to play. Each team with a lot of timeouts left. Iowa State with 3, South Dakota State with 4. And possession arrow in favor of Iowa State. So timeout taken here by South Dakota State. 30-second timeout. Jackrabbits up 55-48. Well, if you can't see the games live, you can always catch up on Cyclone men's basketball by watching the Greg McDermott Show each weekend on Mediacom. Coach Back will talk strategy and break down upcoming opponents. It's also your chance to be a part of the team and get the scouting report straight from the coach. It's the Greg McDermott Show, airing Saturday mornings at 9:30 here on your Medicom Connections channel. Well, Anthony Cordova has been the man for South Dakota State. He's got 14 in the game, 12 have been scored in the second half.
And almost all those have been his pet move inside where he backs you in, creates a little space and shoots over that left shoulder.
And he's had
it is.
It's been that one move.
That went off a lob pass. Now he comes back, bangs into Hamilton. Shoots over after it gives up about 5 inches, still able to score over Hamilton.
Well, Kevin, we say it's just that one move, but it's a tough move to defend with that wide body that he has.
No question. Got the wide hips, low post man's body. Now he's getting very physical. Craig Brackens here at the defensive end.
Cyclones down by 7 from the corner. Steiger's shot not there. It will stay with Iowa State. Inside of 5 minutes to play in the game. Jackrabbits by 7. Their largest lead was at 9.
Well, Luca had a great look at it. Defense left him. He had his feet set in that left corner.
Peterson will put it in play.
You feel like this is a huge possession for Iowa State because they can cut into this lead.
Steiger from 19. And the rebound by Kai Williams. And a foul called against Cameron Lee. That'll put South Dakota State at the line with Clint Sargent.
Well, Cameron Lee trying to make something happen, but a little too over-aggressive, fouling 50 feet from the basket. Telling coach, my fault. He's just desperately trying to get some energy into this Iowa State's defense.
Wes Eichmeyer and Deontay Garrett back in. Sargent, you see his numbers here tonight with 16. At the line, misses again. He's 1 for 3 from the charity stripe. Normally about a 77% free throw shooter on the year. Now Garrett launches. And Deontay tracks it down. Eichmeyer into Brackens, and it's stolen. Griffin Callahan comes up with a big steal with 4:20 to play. Cordova with the rebound, but he's fouled.
South Dakota State not shy. Making the 3 off that first pass.
Brian Peterson will pick up his 3rd, 10th team foul against Iowa State, so the double bonus the rest of the way for the Jackrabbits.
Jackrabbits just 4 for 9 from the free throw line. Cordova has kind of slowed down at that big start in the second half. It's 12 is 14, but been kind of quiet here in the last 5 minutes.
Anthony Cordova, maybe the right guy to have at the line on the season, just 38% from the foul line. And here tonight, 0 for 3. So South Dakota State could have a much larger lead. They're 4 of 10 from the foul line, make it 5 of 11. As Cordova goes 1 out of 2. So it hasn't really been a clinic for either team at the foul line tonight. Cyclones, well, they're on a bit of a drought here. 1 made field goal in their last 6-15.
Well, they're really struggling, and their confidence is starting to wane now. Had some good looks at some threes, but couldn't knock them down.
Peterson from the wing. Tries to go inside to Brackens, but a hold called against Cordova. He'll pick up his 2nd personal foul, the 7th team foul called against South Dakota State. It brings us to a timeout on the floor. When we come back, Craig Brackens at the line for the 1-on-1. Right now, the Jackrabbits have the lead at 56-48. Take a look at your game reset here. 55-48 your score. Team fouls, you take a look at it 10-7. And then, of course, the timeouts left, even at 3, and the possession arrow is in favor of Iowa State. And Kevin, this is the biggest question that, we're wondering is who's going to have the hot hand down the stretch here. Iowa State has been in this position a couple of different times, and it's been interesting to see who's going to step up to make that call, to make the run. Who's going to be that go-to guy or guys down the stretch here?
Well, Bracken's with 14, and he's been winning the ball. He struggled a bit from the free throw line, 4 for 7 tonight, only 60% on the year. But look for Brian Pearson. He has a knack for hitting big shots in this situation. Lucas Steggers have some good looks. He's got to knock one down.
And of course, for South Dakota State, this is a team that's looking for their first road victory of the season.
Well, the team playing with confidence right now is wearing yellow, South Dakota State. Shooting the ball very well, 43%. But they've got it inside. As you mentioned, Cordova went to work here in the second half. Along with Clint Sargent, Brackens has got to step up, knock these down.
Iowa State in the second half is 3 of 9 from the foul line. And South Dakota State isn't much better, though. They're right at 50%.
Well, South Dakota State is going to get 2 shots here from on out anytime that they're fouled.
The one Iowa State might want to take a look at here is Cordova. We mentioned his numbers, 38% from the line.
A lot of motion by South Dakota State. Motion, ball, movement.
Here's Sargent working against Garrett, and he's fouled on the shot. Deontay Garrett will pick up his second. And so Clint Sargent will go to the line. He's struggled there, 1 for 3, but we mentioned he's a 77% free throw shooter on the season. He's there to shoot 2.
He's got 9 rebounds to go along with 16 points. Nobody can make a free throw this half. We've been at 48-56 for quite some time.
Now back to a 9-point lead for South Dakota State. 3:10 to play. Cyclones in dire need of a bucket. It's been a while since they've scored. Brackens fights through the double team, can't hit the shot, and will go to the line to shoot 2 here.
Well, I would say ran a little set play to bring Brackens in from the weak side elbow to the block. South Dakota State stayed in double teamed. He slides in there off a back screen, puts the ball on the floor, lets those little guys get in there.
Makes the first. That's huge. As far as for gaining confidence at the line.
A new rule, I'm not going to talk about free throws till after he shoots it.
For either team or?
Full court. Iowa State. Yeah, they got to put some pressure out here. Try to create a turnover. We're under the 3-minute mark.
Now a foul here called away from the balls. They're eyeing in on Cordova, and they want Cordova to shoot. Alex Thompson will pick up the foul. That's going to be his 4th. Why not put Cordova at the line?
South Dakota State, a pretty good ball handling team, so Iowa State to take their worst free throw shooter, Cordova, and put him on the line. Best way to get the ball back.
That's why. Let me ask you about that with Coach Mack and a lot of different coaches. Some coaches strictly rely on the numbers. What is Coach Mack's philosophy in this type of a situation?
Well, this guy's shooting 38%. Now he brought Vanderbeek in as a 3-point shooter. No doubt about that one.
He's playing above his average, 8-point lead. Cyclones also making some offensive defensive substitutions as Garrett drives, can't finish it, rebound Sargent. Big miss right there with 2:40 to play. Now they're looking to foul Cordova, and they do, with Jamie Vanderbeeken, who will pick up his first personal foul. So Cordova will go to the line.
Deontay Garrett really struggling from the field. 2 for 9 tonight. He got those 2, and he got one early, and he got one in transition in the second half. There's Vanderbeeken, who has missed a lot of practice time with a bum ankle this week.
You see Cordova, 2 of 6 tonight. He's got 16, but a lot of confidence here in the second half, as 14 of his 16 points have been scored here in the late half.
I was at their shoot-around this afternoon while the rest of the team was working shooting drills. Cordova was at a basket with a coach, and all he was working on was free throw shooting. I might have known this was coming tonight.
He makes 1 out of 2 here, so lead back to 9. Again, 2:35 to play. Again, Iowa State needs a made shot from the field. Here's Steiger from the corner. Big shot. Timeout taken by Iowa State. It's back to a 6-point game.
Well, set play by Iowa State. Little double screen. Close the gate screen for Steiger. Runs that baseline. He's got 2 screeners. Pearson setting up, but he slides through there. Defender can't get through him. Big basket right there, BJ. Gives them some new life. Now we'll see if they continue to go down there and foul Cordova and put him back on the line, because there they traded 3 points for 1.
(59-53).
Luka 2 for 4.
How many more times are we going to see the free throw display by Anthony Cordova down the stretch here?
Well, it's worked for him at the defensive end, because he has not converted. You know, he's right at an average, just around high 30%. But Iowa State's got to be able to convert.
Yeah, the Jacks have actually taken Cordova now out of the game. Coach Steiger going with a much smaller lineup with Williams, also Sargent, the Callahan brothers, and Pilarka. Full court pressure by Iowa State. See the game reset here, the score, and then of course the fouls and the timeouts left by each team. Possession arrow still in favor of Iowa State. 6-point game, nearing the 2-minute mark. Iowa State has done something similar to this, coming from 6 down against UC Davis earlier this year.
Well, South Dakota State, they're going to spread the court, use the clock.
Almost a near steal. Now Pilarka with it, inside of 10 on the shot clock. Pilarka gives it up to Sargent, the 3 ball. And Cameron Lee with the rebound. Coach Greg McDermott wanting to put the hammer down as Peterson looks to drive it. And a timeout taken here by the Cyclones. 1:40 to play. (59-53) your score in favor of the Jackrabbits. Well, the Iowa State Cyclones kicked off 2009 with a men's women's doubleheader right here on the Connections channel. Saturday, January 3rd, Bill Fenley and the Iowa State women take the court against Vanderbilt at 2 o'clock. That night, Greg McDermott and the men's team caps off the day by welcoming SIU of Edwardsville to Hilton Coliseum. That game will be live at 7 o'clock. It's a Cyclone double dip to start the new year right here on your Connections channel.
Greg McDermott with only 1 timeout left. Let's see if he's going to use this timeout to set up a 3-point play, or if he's going to go into Brackens, because South Dakota State has taken their big man Cordova and put him on the bench. So Bracken's going to be guarded by probably a forward, probably Kai Williams would be my guess. 6'6", so he's giving up 5 inches to Brackens. Big possession here for Iowa State. Big possession.
Now Steiger for 3 from the wing. How about Luka?
Set play for the 3. Executed perfectly.
3-point game, 1:25 to play. And listen to the Cyclone fans rumble.
Well, Luka gave him something to cheer about.
And a block by Brackens.
And he keeps it in bounds, BJ.
Steiger will slow it down. It's a 3-point game inside of a minute to play.
Coach Mack with only one timeout left.
Eichmeyer loses it off of his foot, and South Dakota State gets the timeout. Wow.
Eichmeyer trying to create something, loses it off his heel. Now this is a set play by Iowa State where Steiger screens, and then his man, his screen as he fades away. Wide open three. And here's Callahan with the drive, and Bracken's there to not only reject it, but to keep it in bounds. Luca picks up the loose ball.
59-56. South Dakota State. What's the strategy now here for the Jackrabbits?
Yeah, he's got a full shot clock. I think it's more in Iowa State's hands. Are they going to let him run this clock down? Or do they come out and foul if you don't steal it here off the inbounds pass in your first trap?
See the game reset here. Your score, the fouls, and the timeouts left. Again, Iowa State with just one timeout, and the possession arrow still in favor of the Cyclones.
You know South Dakota State is going to have his best 5 free throw shooters in the game at this time.
As a team, they shoot right at 67%.
Callahan, Sargent, both excellent free throw shooters.
And their best on the team is Mackenzie Casey, 13 of 14 on the season, right at 93%. Don't know if we'll see him or not, but he is their top foul shooter. And of course, the ones we might not see is Anthony Cordova, as he's been on the bench, but what a huge second half he's had for the Jackrabbits.
The Iowa State, now if you would like to guard him here for 35 seconds, you're going to get the ball back with about 20, either going to be down 3 or more. But I think you've got to do some full court pressure. You've got to trap the first pass and try to steal.
Alex Thompson into the game. He's got 4 personal fouls.
Of course, Cameron Lee is in for his defensive efforts.
And again, you're right, the best foul shooters are on the floor for South Dakota State. Callahan will put it in play to Pilarka. Iowa State with some full court pressure. It'll have 2-2-1 full court press to try to force the issue here. Williams able to receive it in the half court, and he's fouled right away by Deontay Garrett. Not what I think Iowa State wanted there, as Deontay Garrett will pick up his 3rd personal foul. And now Kai Williams will go to the line.
Kai 22 for 33 on the year, 66% shooter, but he's been there before. This is one of their most experienced players.
On the night, perfect.
Now, Coach Mack's got to get Luca Steiger back in the game. And he has one timeout left.
And the make makes it a 2-possession game here, 60-56 with 43 seconds to go.
Now Luca comes in and huddles him up because he's calling the set play.
Do you go for a 3 or a 2 here?
They've been very successful with these threes. I think you have to look at that first and then try to penetrate.
Garrett with the lob to Brackens, and a foul called against South Dakota State. They kept the smaller lineup out on the floor, and Garrett Callahan.
Well, they used Luca as a decoy here, sets the back screen and try to run Brackens in for the lob.
Here's the problem for the Jackrabbits, because Garrett Callahan, one of their better free throw shooters, just picked up his 5th personal foul, so he'll have to go to the bench.
And Scott Nagy's going to use his entire time here to try to freeze Brackens at the line.
Callahan checks out with 11 points, 3 assists on the evening. Went 4 of 6 from the field, but really played a very solid defensive game here.
And hit some big shots for him also.
Now Craig Brackens will toe the line. Big foul shot.
Coach Mack's going to bring Lee back in. Substitution will make it a dead ball so he can set up his trap press.
Couple of big makes. 2-point game here, 35 seconds to play.
They're going to face guard. So basically your shot clock is off, a half a second differential. Look for the same thing. Try to get the steal. If you don't, you're going to have to foul when they get across the half-court line.
Haluska and Lee back into the game for Steiger and Eichmeyer. Now a timeout taken by South Dakota State.
Now this gives Coach McDermott a chance to set up his play going back the other way and save his timeout.
Iowa State down by 2 here, 35 seconds to play. Well, 2008 has been a thrilling year for the Drake Bulldogs. The Bulldogs had a dream season complete with an NCAA tournament berth. Drake clinched a 3rd straight title against in-state opponents. What a better way to end the year with the Bulldogs. Drake hosts MVC rival Missouri State in the final basketball broadcast of 2008. Start your New Year's Eve festivities early with live coverage at 2 or catch the replay at 6. 35 seconds to play, 60-58, South Dakota State with the lead on Iowa State here.
Now Iowa State's going to face guard and try to knock one loose on the initial inbounds. Of course, South Dakota State once gets the ball in their best free throw shooter's hands, which is either probably going to be Clint Sargent this time. Dale Moss, who came in, is also a 76% free throw shooter.
Krakens will face up against the inbounder here as Moss will look to put it in play. He does to Sargent. They do break it. They get it ahead to Williams. He's left all alone, and Williams stuffs it home and makes it a 4-point game.
Well, Iowa State got caught with nobody back. Thought they were going to foul.
Now Garrett drives, can't hit the shot. It's saved inbounds to South Dakota State inside of 20 seconds to play. And Michael Pilarka is fouled.
Well, mistake on that press by Iowa State. Did not keep a man back to guard the basket. Gave Kai Williams the easy 2. Now Clint Sargent at the line was 17. But he struggled from the line here tonight, BJ.
And he continues to struggle. It's been the one chink in his game here this evening. 2 of 6 from the foul line. Now Lucas Steiger will come in. It's a 4-point game, 18 seconds to play.
2 possessions, as you said, so you almost have to drive the ball to the rim and try to draw a foul or get the quick 2.
Sargent's next one is good. South Dakota State will burn a timeout here. With 18, almost 19 seconds to go, 63-58. And these Jackrabbits came in, again, not playing one of their best games of the year against Northern Iowa, falling 72-55. Coach Nagy really regrouped the team over the last couple of days, and have they ever put together a game plan defensively at Iowa State, took them out of their offensive rhythm, and they put it together here tonight.
Well, great defensive effort. Help side defense was excellent. I would say they had a hard time getting the ball inside. But right now, Coach Nagy's telling them, do not foul. The clock needs to keep running.
And for Iowa State, what do the Cyclones need to do? You mentioned before.
I really think you take it to the basket right now and try to get a quick 2 and get the clock stopped. Coach McDermott still has a timeout left.
All right, South Dakota State looks like they're going to put on
a little token pressure, slow them up. Try to take away the 3 ball.
And here comes Deontay from the top. He'll fire a 3. Can't hit it. Rebound tipped out. Garrett again for 3. This one's left short. Garrett will get the rebound. Now Steiger for 3. Can't hit the fadeaway. And the rebound to Kai Williams. Couple of surprising shots there, Kevin.
Well, they had 3 pretty good looks at it. I was a little surprised that Garrett would take the initial 3. This is a tough loss for Iowa State. Luska bats it back out. Garrett gets it again. Now he finds Luka. That one's in and out.
In South Dakota State, a huge upset here at Hilton Coliseum tonight as they will down the Cyclones. 65-58 your score. Now Deontay Garrett here at the horn. And South Dakota State. The Jackrabbits earn a huge win tonight as they get their first road victory of the season. They improve to 6-7 overall. Iowa State will fall to 7-4. Final score 65-58. More after these messages. (65-58). South Dakota State defeats Iowa State here tonight at Hilton Coliseum, and a huge victory here tonight, Kevin, for the Jackrabbits. And give them all the credit. They came in with a game plan, they stuck with it, and they get the W here.
Well, excellent execution. Iowa State just could not get on track, did not shoot the ball well from the three-point line, couldn't shoot it from the free throw line, but big game by Clint Sargent, a young man from Sioux City, Heelan.
Well, let's take a look at our play of the game, brought to you, of course, by Visor Lumber. And it happened here in the second half. Cyclones started to get going here a little bit with Bracken's dunk from a great feed from Lucas Steiger.
One of the few highlights for the Iowa State Cyclones, that run out, slammed by Brackens, but just not enough.
Here's our Prairie Meadows player of the game. It goes to Clint Sargent. He returns to the state of Iowa. He finishes with a double-double, 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists on the night. Clint Sargent, our Prairie Meadows player of the game, as his team's victorious 65-58. The leading scorer for Iowa State was Craig Brackens with 18, and now Iowa State will be on the road. They travel to Houston. They're here on New Year's Eve against Mercer, so they've got some work to do here.
They really do, and once again, no class, so they've got a lot of time for basketball.
Want to remind you that our next game comes up on Sunday as Northern Iowa takes on Indiana State right here on your Connections channel. And you can catch it Sunday at 1 o'clock right here on Mediacom. Again, Northern Iowa and Indiana State coming up this weekend. 65-58, South Dakota State, the winner over Iowa State. For Kevin Lame and the rest of the crew, BJ Shaven saying so long here from Hilton Coliseum as you've been watching Iowa State basketball here on Mediacom Connections, your local sports and entertainment connection.